You've been asking for the Milwaukee Gen 4s, and today we got them. Today we're using and abusing. Yep, that's right. We got the brand new Gen 4 impact driver and the brand new Gen 4 Milwaukee hammer drill. Today we're gonna be using and abusing. We're even gonna be slicing and dicing. Today's gonna be an awesome video. We're gonna take these Gen 4s and we're gonna see what they can do. And then we're gonna compare them to the Gen 3s. We're gonna see if these things are worth the money in the upgrade. Or should you just stay with the Gen 3s? You definitely wanna stick around because this video is gonna be real nice like. So what's up everybody? Now, if you're looking to get into the Gen 4 hammer drill and impact driver from Milwaukee, listen, they just dropped these things last month. They're brand new to the market. You might already have a set of Gen 3s and you're wondering to yourself, is it worth the upgrade? So I figured the best way to figure out if these things have enough power to do the job you need, or even more power than the Gen 3, is run them through some tests. We got some 1-inch auger bits. We got a 2 9/16. This is a switchblade, so this thing here ought to be pretty interesting. And of course, we got some of those sweet 1/2-inch lags. Now, before we actually start doing these tests, the using and abusing, let's talk about the specs, the price, and some of the comparisons between the Gen 3s. So first, let's take a look at the Gen 4 and Gen 3 impact driver comparison, and then we'll move it over to the Gen 3 hammer drills. Now, looking at the Gen 3 and the Gen 4 impact driver, you may say to yourself, there's not that much change, but let me tell you, there is a lot different with the Gen 4 compared to the Gen 3. Some upgrades being good and some not so much, in my opinion. So right off the bat, one of the biggest differences is the LED light placement. Gen 3 having it under the cullet, the Gen 4 having 3 LED lights right up on top that really illuminates the areas much better. Now, I will tell you that the Gen 3 here is a 1-key. This one is not, however, they will be coming out with the 1-key version soon. And even though your selector modes may look the same, they're not. On the Gen 3, you had 4 different adjustment settings. And though you had 4 different speed controls, you were missing the automatic shutoff feature. On the new Gen 4, they gave you 3 speed selectors and then the automatic. And if you're not familiar with impact drivers, that's a good thing to have so you don't strip out your screws or snap off your bolts. However, what's pretty surprising is the weight is exactly the same between the Gen 3 and the Gen 4. You're looking with the 5AH battery, 13.12 ounces. What about the power-wise, you ask? Well, let's check it out. So today, here, we have the world's most famous treated 6x6 with no pilot holes. And I also invited a special guest, my evil twin, to help me run this test. All right, so how exactly are we going to do this test? Well, on each side, we have 2 1/2-inch lag screws. I'm going to run the Gen 4 first. Hey, will you get over here?
Why don't you go yourself?
And while I'm running the Gen 4, driving those lags down, the evil twin, as soon as he's done doing whatever he's doing, is going to run the Gen 3. You see, we're basically going to race. And then we're going to switch it up. He will run the Gen 4.
No, I'm not. I hate your face.
And I will run the Gen 3. There are no pilot holes
I seen one.
in this wood. We're going straight down through. Let's go, you're embarrassing me.
Embarrassing yourself.
And why are you wearing the same clothes?
I'll wear what I want.
Both 5AH batteries are fully charged, just so you can see right there. Oh, and by the way, they also have the exact same adapters, the exact same brand of sockets. All right, here we go. I have the Gen 4. Both impacts are set on the highest setting. That's number 4 for the Gen 3 and 3 for the Gen 4. Very confusing. On the count of 3, are you ready? 3, 2, and we're not pushing down. 1, go.
Whoa, all right, I wasn't expecting that, but the Gen 3 on the left actually beat the Gen 4. It was faster on the fast mode. That makes no sense to me. All right, let's just keep on testing, but that's sort of a shocker to me.
All right, but what about pulling these things out? 3, 2, 1.
What the?
We're gonna do the Gen 4, we're gonna pull it up. Gen 3, we're gonna pull it up. Okay.
All right, I'm gonna overdub this clip here because I thought one thing when I was recording it, and then now I'm thinking a different thing. that I'm actually seeing this playing back, I don't know what to make out of this. It seems like when I switch batteries, the Gen 4 does better in some cases, and then the Gen 3 does better in some cases. I just don't get it. There's definitely going to have to be some further testing to figure this mystery out.
But you know what? It's not like the Gen 4 is smoking the Gen 3 or vice versa. You know, so if you're talking price-wise, yeah, if they're going to discontinue the Gen 3, these are going to start going on sale pretty soon, the Gen 3. So I would go out and buy these at a discounted price just because they're trying to push them out. First, let's do the Gen 3 with the high output and the Gen 4 with the 5AH, and then we'll switch them up. All in no pilot holes on either one of these. Highest speed, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's just keep it on the same side here, and I'll just switch the batteries out. That way, you know, they're basically the same thing, but with pilot holes. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I'm completely flabbergasted or whatever you call it, because that Gen 3 was set to the highest setting and so was the Gen 4, and that Gen 3 smoked the Gen 4. Maybe it was a fluke, maybe it wasn't, but it's definitely something I have to continue testing in the future, and I'll bring that information back to you once I figure something out.
FYI, there is a really good upgrade also with this cullet here. On the older Gen 3, you only had one ball bearing in there holding in your bits. Here you have 2. So that might be a huge benefit for you just for that feature alone. So now let's move it over to the hammer drill. And right here, I got a $53,000 piece of treated 2x8. Kind of pays for itself if you could smash that like button for me. Thank you. So here we go, the 2 9/16 Milwaukee IA switchblade. This thing right here is beastly. So what we're gonna do is run this bad boy mamma jamma through this treated 2x8 with no pilot holes using both these drills. One side is going to be the Gen 3, one side is going to be the Gen 4. We're going to see if one can do it over the other or if both just clunker out. Now on the right side we will have the Gen 4 running, and on the left side of the screen we will have the Gen 3. Now what's nice about the Gen 4 is you have that automatic shut off so you don't bust your wrist. However, I'm still going to use this. We're going to go on mode 1 and then we're going to go on mode 2.
Oh, FYI, I did have some issues with the chuck opening up on the Gen 3 where I didn't have any issues on the Gen 4, and I'll show you that here in a bit, but yeah, check that out.
So let's do mode 2 again, side by side. All right, let's do a 1-inch auger. On the left, we're gonna go 4, and then we're gonna go on the right, 4, Gen 4 here, Gen 3 on that side. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. This is on high mode, go. So this is not at all what I thought I would think by the end of these tests. So let me show you a couple things here on the Gen 3 compared to the Gen 4. On the Gen 3, not only do you have the analog switch right there, well, you have different mode settings right here. On the Gen 4, they completely removed the buttons. And really all they have is the analog 1 and 2 modes. You see, I was kind of irritated when I seen this after taking this out of the box. I thought Milwaukee was sort of going backwards, but I'll be honest with you, I sort of like this better. I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong, it's nice to have all the different adjustments and the slower speeds, but you do have the variable speed on both. But the major upgrades is where it's important on these. Number one is the reason why I kept the handle on the Gen 3 instead of the Gen 4 is because this will bust your wrist if it just starts spinning on you, where the Gen 4 has the automatic shut off. The other thing that I've noticed with this drill is that the chuck constantly loosens up, and I have to put this back on that bit and tighten it back down again. Check this out. I've never noticed this before until I started using the Gen 4. Watch when I pull the trigger and let go on the high speed. Now watch the Gen 3. See how it keeps turning? See how it does that? when that happens, the chuck actually loosens up and your bits fall out. I'm not getting that at all on the Gen 4. And the other thing I've noticed is that the actual clutch itself does not move like the Gen 3 does. Sometimes this will go into hammer mode, or this one will go into hammer mode, and this one stays right where you put it, which is a big improvement over the Gen 3. So overall, even though the Gen 3 seems to have more functions with the digital buttons over here, I feel that the overall performance, even though that's lacking some of the features that Gen 3 has, is overall better. I can definitely tell that they adjusted this clutch and the chuck, and it works way better than what the Gen 3 does. However, power-wise, unless I see something different in the playback when I'm editing this video, I'm not completely blown away by the Gen 4. Yeah, it seems to be a little bit more powerful than the Gen 3, but, you know, is it mind-blowing? Again, no. So the question remains, would I upgrade? Would I spend more money on a Gen 4 over the Gen 3 because this is newer? Well, really it comes down to if this chuck is driving you crazy or if the clutch is driving you crazy, then yeah, this is way better on the Gen 4 than the Gen 3. Power-wise, if you're happy with your Gen 3 and that clutch and chuck doesn't bother you, then I would say no, it's not worth the upgrade. Again, unless I see that power-wise played back during the editing, I'm not noticing that big of a difference. I think the Gen 4 performed better overall. I mean, that's what I'm remembering after I ran them. But, you know, like I said, it's just, you know, I wish there was more. Now, of course, we are going to do more testing with these bad boys here in the future. We're going to put them through more tests and we're going to see how they hold up. So you want to get subscribed, hit that bell notification so you don't miss out on those videos. But I want to know what you think. Are you planning on upgrading to the Gen 4 Impact and Drill, or is it just not for you? Love hearing that sweet, sweet feedback. And with that, we're back with more videos soon.